Okay. Let's
You
not
know?
let's definitely not play this game of who's more busy than who. Let's not play that game.
Okay,
G
okay, fair, good
G
deal.
G E George Edwards. Tell the folks why we're talking today. Why do you think we're talking today?
You just wanted to go back in time to like 2017 to when I met you, and
I
you just
met
wanted to rehash the
I met you
past.
in 2017.
Yep, European Championships, Spartan race. Yeah, pre talk, like race brief, because you remember it was snowing, and they were like, "Oh, we're going to close the lake," and I think you were there covering it. This is right at the beginning of your career as well, I believe.
Well, my career started in 2012, so it was definitely not at the beginning. So if it was
All
2017
right,
European Champs, that's Andorra, right?
that's right, baby. Yeah.
I had no recollection of that. I'm so happy that we're talking. Now I
Hmm.
like you even more.
That's right.
So what did
That was
we
a good race.
so what did we talk about though? I don't remember.
I think I was just gassing you up, telling you could be the next Joe Rogan of fitness racing podcasts, and you were like, "Ooh, I like that." You know, yeah, I want to be Joe Rogan. And then I forget who we were talking about because I can't remember who was racing back then. Like probably Albin, Tristan, the fast French kid. I forget his
Albin,
name.
Albin wasn't there. Atkins wasn't there. It was all Euros because it was kind of before the Americans started going to those events, I think. Um,
Mm,
and I think at some point they stopped. Like you couldn't even get, like they finally the last couple of years said, well, you can't. Only Americans can do the American series or something. But
right.
I was actually Spartan hired me to be to be on their live feed, and I remember it was frustrating because there was a lot of non-English speakers. And it's interesting because HYROX is similar this way. There's a lot of international athletes, but most of them speak pretty good English. And I remember back then,
Mm.
um, Susanna won, and her English isn't fantastic. On the men's side, I think I forget who won, but like there was controversy with Albert Soleil, and I couldn't even talk to Albert because his English isn't great.
That's it. I remember. Yeah. So yeah, we've known each other since back then, but that's not what we're talking today,
I know,
obviously. But yeah,
but that now,
that's the link.
but that now raised your stock. Like you have no idea how much your stock just got raised because we did that.
We go way back, dude.
Why are we
I
talking
mean,
today?
what? I mean, we're talking because it's London EMEA Championships the other day, and now it's the Open courses and the pros, I guess. So it's the regular HYROX. And I said to you the other day, "Yo, what's up with these course times? People are flying around." And I'm too old to go into I don't want to like diss on other athletes. Everyone works hard. They're incredible. I'm not comparing myself to any elite athletes before anyone kind of says, who the fuck is this guy? I'm just someone with two eyes who's been around racing for a long time that sees something that's plainly obvious. And if you've seen the course, it's taped on the floor around in a circle or big oval, and this tape has to wiggle between steel columns and posts for safety reasons. But you're running inside the tape markings, and then it's 2.5 laps and in, but there's two corners where you go nowhere near the tape and you just cut off at basically right angle about 10 to 15 meters per lap. And so by my calculations, per kilometer, that might be somewhere between 30 meters a lap, or 30 meters a kilometer. Times that by 8, we got 240. That's probably about a minute, 45 seconds under fatigue. That looks like those times could be adjusted, and then everyone's times starts going, oh, yeah, if you take a minute off that, that's probably where everyone is. I mean, Tim would have got a 52:30 without the penalty and a 53 with. I mean, don't get me wrong, the guy is a machine. He's incredible. Your man, your Dutchman, the Flying Dutchman, unreal. They're clearly getting better. But 15 PBs across Elite 15 girls and guys, plus the doubles. Come on, dude. Like, yeah.
So, as a journalist,
Mm.
I look deep into these things, right?
Yeah.
a person has their greatest day ever, right? A person, which is what it takes to run. See that?
No.
To set a world record, you've got to have everything go right.
Sure.
And typically when that happens, one or more of your competitors, to be even close, has to have everything in their day go right. And we consistently see Elite 15, it's quite the opposite. Big swings of finishes, DNFs. It's really hard. It's really hard to have your best day. So is it possible in the world of possibility that 3 teams would break the world record, 3 individuals would break the world record without penalties?
Sure.
Is it probable on the same day? It is not. It's possible, as in anything is possible, right?
Sure.
Like a nuclear, is it possible a nuclear weapon strikes today? It's possible.
Pretty probable. This day and age.
So for some reason, we're in this world of, oh, you can't say the athletes didn't do it. Oh, we can't insult the athletes. It's like, guys, use your eyes. It's pretty fucking obvious. Now, here's the bad news for them. Here's the bad news for them. What my friend Cheryl said. Cheryl said, Till and the live feed loves to talk about world records. She's like, well, guess you won't have that topic for a long time now because you blew your wad. I will say the same.
Yeah, maybe.
I will say the same thing to all of you that posted 1 minute PB, 1 minute and a half PB. Congratulations. You'll never do it again. Like you're always going to race. If you aren't self-aware enough to go, man, I've worked hard, but it's pretty obvious that course had something going on. Like if you're not willing to say that, then the rest of your HYROX career, until you come back to this course and it's marked the same way, do you have even a chance of beating that time, which is so far below the mean? Now, I asked a friend who has the time and effort to do the below the mean to do it. So I'll be putting that information out. But if you listen to what Hunter says, it's like these 45-second, minute and a half, like big swings, baby. So anyway, as I say to my children, doesn't mean I love you any less, but you didn't do it. You didn't do it.
Yeah, of course, the athletes, they're all incredible. I'm not taking anything away out of it. Don't forget, I mean, I say this to, my own clients, like even myself, it's just burpees in a convention center. Let's not get ahead of yourself here. You're not Messi playing at the World Cup in front of like 1 billion people on TV. Like the ego in this sport is like, yo, just calm down, just take a breath.
Well, it's something we talked about. So I interviewed this guy, Rory. Have you seen his stuff?
Rory.
Rory. Stephen Rayner. Why did I say Rory?
No. Who's Stephen Rayner?
Well, if you were
Stephen.
If you're a supporter of this podcast, and I know you are, please listen to his episode, which would be out today, except yours is pressing, so yours is going to go out today.
Sorry, Stephen.
Well, it's really good, but this is I don't want to wait till next week. It's like it'll be like this conversation's
sure.
over.
It's a top topic. Like people are PBing as we speak right now,
but
which is great.
But in all walks of life, it's called main character syndrome, right?
Yeah.
The amount of
you guys started that. You Americans, you guys have started that, and it spread to Europe. Okay. The amount of let me introduce myself posts. It's like, it's good. I know who you are. Hey, some of you are new here. Let me retell you my whole fucking story. Here's my cancer. Here's my comeback. Here's my come on, man. Like I know, bro.
Guess
I know.
what?
I'm in the coaching business. Like, trust me, everyone's a HYROX coach. Everyone's gassing themselves up. Everyone's got a fat to fit story. Yeah, I'm like, I don't even know what it's like to be out of shape. I've just been disciplined, I guess, for 42 years. I don't have a sob story to tell. I'm mediocre. I know where I am in the pecking order. I love what I do. I help others do it better. But
Do you?
Yeah, like Instagram is
You know?
crazy.
Is that a fact?
Well, I love what I do.
No. Do you help people get?
Yeah, yeah, dude. I right now I've just helped two girls go from 112 to an hour in the pros. So Elite 15 incoming for Warsaw, hopefully. And then, although London kind of just wobbled that time for me. And then that's Chloe Cook. And then the other one is Sophia, who's been in and out around the Elite 15 for the last sort of 7, 8 months.
Sophia Harnedy?
Yeah. Sophia, what's your last name?
Really hard. It's really hard when you have so many clients.
It's a double-barreled name. Fitzia Wayne. And yeah, they've taken minutes off their blocks. I've got guys dropped from 70 pro to around 62, 63 pro. You know how it goes. It's repetition. This sport is not rocket science. It's just discipline and hard work and consistency, and then it happens. The biggest thing is actually just athletes who start this in their 30s and 40s is actually avoiding injury, because obviously the load is always going to be an increase, and a lot of people in the beginning thought you had to be pushing a sled all the time and running, and that's nonsense. You barely touch the sleds, because you save the Achilles tendon and the medial arch, so you can just squat and lunge instead and run separately.
But I think that was the other thing about this course, is that the men's teams ran a 1:15, which is 15 seconds faster than even the previous world record. So I know that's not their fault, but clearly if we're all going to get sleds that fast, amazing. I don't know what distinguishes sleds courses or not. It shouldn't, but it does. But clearly the sleds were pretty fast.
Yeah, it's changed. The sport has changed. It's gone from you need to be super freaking strong to move this sled to Luke Greer is an incredible athlete, but if he's moving those sleds easy, then they're not heavy enough. You know what I mean?
But do you think there's a point where they actually need to change it? Add weight?
Yeah. Well, you just admit you're wrong, or admit that it's actually not creating a hybrid enough space where you've essentially watered it down, diluted it for the masses to be a running thing, because you don't want to see people stuck at the sleds. But that's because of the wave system. If you're rolling out waves of 50 every 10 minutes, you can't have someone just block up 20% of your sled lanes because it's too heavy, because someone's there for 8, 9 minutes. But they used to be. They used to be. But then they were looking at that probably going, that's not going to bode well for the bottleneck of a workout. Anybody that's run a HYROX workout in any gym knows that the only skill involved in it is basically just looking at it going, is this going to bottleneck due to lack of equipment, space, numbers? Do you know what I mean? That's one of your priorities, along with the skill set and the stimulus of the workout.
Right.
But it's the same thing for HYROX. You're literally running a pipeline. But if that pipeline jams anywhere, it's fucked. And they've had a few pipeline problems at the wall stations due to bad weather in Berlin, outdoor race, we forgive you, yada, yada, yada. But you can't have that at the second station. And so I think as soon as you open it up to Centra, who take away all your logistics and shipping issues, then you go, right, okay, you're in charge. That's great. But they are fundamentally lighter, or they're moving easier across that turf than whatever turf they were using before. And that's where the times have come down. It doesn't help guys like Hunter.
I think there was even something even more specific in this case, something's different that was even faster. And I don't know what that is.
I mean, they're white sleds, white plates. I don't know.
I mean, something happened.
I don't know, bro.
Well, and again, I want people to understand that
athletes are getting better. You have to admit they are getting better.
Of course they are, but
they're figuring it out, because it's just an adaptive stimulus.
But we're gonna
run a marathon enough times. Your zone 2 becomes a 3 hour.
We're gonna watch your times, and if you ran a 54 or a 55, and after this race you're running 56s, which is, by the way, an amazing athlete, right? But like you said, 53 and change, 54 and change. We won't call out the gentleman you sent me. You sent me a time that was a massive difference, whose previous fastest time was still a minute slower at that same venue. And I don't know if you guys always have the same layout, but it was still the same venue, right? It was still Olympia.
Um,
But
Olympia last year was a very similar layout, but not the
typically
same.
2 minutes slower. And the last time he raced here, he was 1 minute slower. And a minute's a lot in this race. But so anyway, all I'm asking is just have the least bit of humidity. I mean, like Rich Ryan and I would joke, right? When he first busted at 55, and I was like, you know, we were always worried because you guys had these super fast courses. You had the 1 lap course, you had one of the Spain courses was super fast. And then he busted a 55 somewhere, and we were like, clearly that. And he was like, I would say clearly that one was a little, you know, short. He's like, no, it's not. My fitness was great, but he was like joking, like understood it. So that's all I'm asking is this much humility. And the last piece I'll say is it isn't fun to hear. Like when I was on the podcast, they pointed out to me that in where did I just race? Where were we? DC. That my time, I thought my times were perfect. Like, wow, and it was like, well, the first lap was long, so the rest of your laps were short. So it means your pace was slower. So sucks to hear, but I understand it. When I first heard it, I was like, ooh, that makes sense. So anyway,
ultimately,
let's have a little. But can we go back?
Yeah.
I want to make sure people understand what you're saying because every course is different. Sometimes there's more traffic. And by the way, that's another thing too, right? Pro race versus an Elite 15 race. Elite 15 has no traffic.
Pro 15, no traffic.
Pro race is a lot of traffic. But just explain it again because I want to make sure we cover that part because that's legitimate. That's a real thing. Explain it slower. This pipe, this like where the pipes are.
So at London Olympia in Kensington, which is a terrible part of town, they've marked out the course. They've obviously used like a wheel, what do you call it? Pedometer. And, you know, you line a football field with it, a football pitch with it. And obviously you roll that out and it'll measure the distance and then they've taped it. But the taping lines, they're not like smooth. They're like angular. So if you're running that tape exactly, you would have to weave through a lot of cast iron steel columns, which wouldn't be good because you'd be constantly bobbing and weaving. So you stick inside that line, and then when it turns in even more, you actually have the opportunity to go straight past and cut off a huge segment of about, like I said, 10, 15 meters every lap. And then it does it again on the other side. So you just kind of take these nice, big, smooth turns, which is great. It's better in a singles than a doubles because the doubles, when there's two of you racing and there's more traffic, not everyone gets to take the same line and you can kind of lose your partner. But sometimes it's like an apex and you just get to cut the corner off it. That's what it is. It's like an apex in Formula One where there's this crazy chicane, but you're like, no, don't have to brake here. I'm just going to go straight through that sucker. Same thing, but the course of an F1 track would be however long. But if you're taking a racing line, then you don't have to do that. So that's all it is. It's the racing line. It's not the athlete's fault. It's just the way the course is marked. And I get it because it has to fit in a venue that everybody can fit in.
And is this what it was like at the same venue previously?
I can't remember. Honestly, I can't remember. Like, you know, I'm not a HYROX detective. Just spend all my time just like looking at tape on the floor and seeing what's going on. I've ran the course 3 times this week and, you know, it's been great. It's actually one of the best venues and the most fun I've actually had doing HYROX. You know, I got a lot of old friends over there that I worked with, help bring HYROX from Germany to the UK and start it up and get everybody excited all those years back around COVID time. And, you know, I love the sport. I love the race, but I always want to see it get better. And I always want to see, you know, I want to see standards. I want to see stuff improve with judging. I want to see athletes get more. I want to see staff paid more. I want the whole thing to be professional outfit. I don't like it when the way it's coming is like just, you know, athletes are coming through. There's not enough prize money still in it. There's not enough recognition. Sponsors are slowly getting into it, and that's great. You know, Adidas are in the game, On Cloud, Puma, Nike, great. athletes deserve to be paid more, and that will all filter down to your various people. But I don't love the influencer side of it. You know, these people can get fucked for all I'm concerned. They bring nothing to the table. They over sexualize it. They're just constantly dancing on the courses. You're lowering the standard. We've got a great thing happening.
You have a problem with those Asian folks that were dancing?
Oh, well, it's not the fact that they're Asian. Obviously, I don't care where you're from. It's more just like, who needs to see that?
The one piece of content that jumped out at me, and I shared the wall balls because I thought it was funny, but then I saw the one it was either burpees or lunges, and then I was really turned off, and then I was like, oh, I wish I had to share this. And then that was like, well, now you're not really.
Attention is a hell of a drug. That's all I say. It's a hell of a drug.
Well,
but I don't think we need any more of that. I think we're like we've already. The internet has enough of that. We don't need to bring it into this where it's just a race. It's just everyone's trying their hardest. Like, why you got to make it about you? You know what I mean?
Well, I wouldn't be the hard-hitting journalist that I am if I didn't ask you a very difficult question, though. Because I was trying to look at our conversation. I was trying to see if we talked about Spartan or whatever, and it's probably in the old account. But you do have the word guru in your bio, sir.
Yeah, that's just marketing. But that stems from just like my own belief and my own coaching ability where I can bring the best out of people. And I talk to...
But should anyone call themselves a guru? Should I call myself a guru?
No, of course not. It's just a tag. I wouldn't expect anybody. It's a joke. It's it just stems from my experience in this sport comparatively to anybody else. Like, no, I'm not. It's more just like, I am Hunter's guru. I tell Hunter to ease back and do this and to push every single day. I advise Hunter just as much as any one of his coaches. We're the best of friends. He listens to me. Sometimes he does. Sometimes he doesn't. Sometimes I'm like, bro, you don't need to go mad scientist just because it's March. Like,
you're clearly doing a crappy job, man. He hasn't won the world champion in years. What are you doing? Get on it.
I know. Got to go back out there to camp beef and get him in line. But no, like Hunter's an incredible athlete. But like all incredible athletes, you kind of get in your own head a bit and you overcomplicate a simple problem, like sport. It's so Hunter tends to just try new things at maybe a point in the season when you shouldn't try and experiment new things. A couple of years ago before Nice, he was worried about watts per kilo ratio and losing a lot of weight for running. I said that was a horrible idea. I said, you're a tank and you're a fast tank. You should run a lot, lift a lot of weights, do your hill sprints down to the beach and back in Malibu, drink a beer, have fun.
Were you the one he was talking about then when he interviewed and said, my coach told me to do this, but I didn't listen? Was that you?
I don't know in what reference it was, but no, I don't think so.
Because one of the times he said that. He said, well, my coach said I shouldn't do this, but I just thought I'm going to try to do this and this and this, and it didn't work. So I thought, I don't know.
We have a lot of conversations. Like not Hunter has a couple of different coaches and a lot of people he listens to. And I always tell him my opinion, and he, sometimes he takes it, sometimes he doesn't. But like more often than not, when he simplifies his formula, he's the most dangerous person at any race. I think when, but he's playing with, 10 seconds to him is like, that's first or third. So that the margins that you're coming down to are big. So he has to look at every possibility. And before Nice, he screwed it up and he got too light and he lost his power endurance because he thought he could kind of outrun the HYROX course. And that particular day he couldn't. But then the fallout from that is when you lose all that muscle mass and you lose all that weight, you not only do you psychologically have to recover from coming fifth at world championships, and then you want to take a break from the sport, let your body recover. Now you got to start eating again. Now you got to start strength training again, and then you can start running again. That's like a 9-month turnaround to get your body back to where it is before you start fucking it up. So I saw that whole event pan out, and it was tough to watch because I know how good he is, obviously. But now, since then, I helped simplify his formula and his program, and then he's right there running with Tim Vinich, and bar a couple of penalties, right? He would have won one of those majors. I forget which one it was. You know, and the world champs, that came down to a set of unbroken wall balls. And, you know, we sort of like, you know, I was part of his team where we were holding each other to, you know, a level of accountability where he was doing his simulations each week and we're sort of finding all these margins on the burpees and the lunges. And he's like, what do you think about if I load the bag this way? And I'm like, no, do it like this. And what about if I pick the kettlebells up like this or take a corner like this? What angle should I hit it? All this stuff we've thought about.
So who's going to take it this year?
My money's on Hunter still.
What about for the women?
I mean, you can't look past Joanna at the moment, but Lauren Weeks, man, is like, she's so incredible. Lauren Weeks she's powerful. Sinead might have a say in it. I don't know if something happens or just if everyone just overtrains or something, she could be dangerous. I don't know. Vivian's got a chance of top podium. I hope Lucy Proctor does well, obviously. You know, she's got time on her side, so her game is just to not to blow up in 3 to 5 years. Do you know what I mean? Like, stay healthy, kind of like war of attrition, kind of be there and just, you know, you'll take it, you know?
All right. Well, listen, man, I got to get running. We had to push this so late and we're now running into the other stuff I have going on.
Yeah, like, I'm a busy man. I don't have time to talk about HYROX courses. I'm like, yeah, me too.
Glad we got to do this, though.
Yeah, me too. I'm sure we've offended loads of people.
Especially
that's fun.
Tell your friend Sophia, by the way, to connect with me. I'm looking back. Her and I have chatted a bunch and never set up a call.
Yeah, Sophia's incredible. And she's doing a race tomorrow. And then hopefully she'll be back on it. Maybe not Elite 15s this year because there's not enough time for the majors, but over the summer.
Well, now you just got to race a bunch. You don't need to hit these insane times anymore. And that's the one thing I'm grateful about this most recent thing is like at least we're not going to have to reset the whole fucking board because of this. Like, luckily next year.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Yeah. And besides, I'm the biggest hypocrite of them all because I like to race fast courses like everybody else because I want a faster time.
Of course.
You know, I got a fast time in London and I'm going to go do Berlin and hopefully get another fast time in there. But I've had my fair share of shitty courses. Shout out to Bilbao in Spain. But that thing was like a hexagon, bro. That thing was like running through a shopping mall at Christmas. So avoid that.
All right, dude. Talk soon.
All right. Peace, brother.
See you.